G'day, Radu. Welcome. Just going to move the camera and adjust it back to where it needs to be. There we go. Let's see if we can get this baby working nicely. Hope you're having a lovely Sunday morning. Hi, Gidget. So I'm just adjusting so I can get you guys in nice and close. And you're sort of behind me, so I'm hoping that you can see exactly where I am and what I'm doing. All right, good picture, thumbs up, nice. So, could not sleep for the life of me last night. My brain was in absolute overdrive. So, raining hard there today, Lynette. Hi, how you going? Is that a good thing? I'm hoping it's a good thing. I'm just going to adjust my machine. Bear with me while I check my arm in front of the camera. Thought I had it sitting right, but you know, things happen. There we go. So I'll give you some advice with your free motion quilting. It's free advice. All my advice is free. When you're free motion quilting, make sure that you are good quilting day. Yeah, absolutely, Lynette. Make sure that your machine is close to you. So I'll just move the camera a little bit there, and you can see here's the end of the machine, and here's my tum-tum. So I make sure that that machine is really, really close, because when I'm actually sewing, I'm going to have to lift that up a little bit more so you can see past my hands. There we go. A little bit better. Yeah, that's better. So that when I've got my hands there, my shoulders are dropped. I very rarely take my hands outside of this area. I try and have it in. Sorry, my machine decided that it's been open too long. I only ever have my my hands in that throat area. I don't even have a table on this one, but it's got a very big bed on it. The 14,000 has a very big bed because it's also an embroidery machine. It's quite a big machine as far as the throat size is concerned. So I can do quite a bit of quilting on these. Excuse me. So in saying that, I like to have my hands right there, right where I can see them. I have myself on my seat. I always chuck a pillow under my backside if I need to get a little bit higher. My elbows are probably a little bit low. I like to have my elbows level with the bed of the machine. So I'm going to chuck another pillow under my backside. That'll make me feel like a pigeon on a perch, but it does help reduce that horrible tension you get in your shoulders. Now, I haven't really, as much as I've been thinking a lot about stuff that I want to do, I haven't thought much about this one. So I do know that I do have the thread ready. I've got the Wonderfil spaghetti in there. So I'm hoping she's going to play nice with me today. I've put a new needle in. Yay. Very excited about everyone's response with this. Since I've changed the colour on the background, I think everyone's really enjoyed the look, and can really see the horse now and the detail you put in. I have washed it, but there's still a little bit of black there, so I am going to come back in with a little bit of acrylic paint and just highlight those areas because I don't really want them really dark. Yeah, so let's get moving. So I might grab a pen and paper so I can do a bit of drawing. So the reason why, if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you have any problems that you sort of think, oh, you know, I really wish I should ask someone that. I've often thought that and never done anything about it, but you know, feel free to ask at any time. Stop me at any time. So, just got a black texture here. I don't know whether she'll work very good. I think I was using it in amongst paints. It might not be happy. So I've got this really unusual area, quite a substantial area, and I'm using a thread that's going to be tonally happy with the background. So I'm not really having it visible, but it's there. You can see it's there. It needs to look like it's quilted. It needs to be finished. So to do some of these designs, and you know how much I love swirls. So what I'm going to do is start with some swirls, and I'm keeping them small. So I come in like a snail shell, like that. In I come, and I pull it right in as far as I can go, but leaving myself that little bit of room because I want to come back out. And when I come back out, I come back out that way. So I'm writing upside down. So I come in, that snail shell, and hook it in, then come back out and around. And I use the foot of the machine as a guide for the distance between each side. And that gives me a rough, very similar distance between each row of stitches. I'm also going to probably throw in some little floweretty things just to soften it up and loosen it up. Do some echoing. And I'm probably also going to do some pebbles. And the one thing with pebbles, they're not just circles. You can't just do circles and expect them to look all like pebbles, believe it or not, or bubbles, or whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to do different sizes, but I always go one way, come back, and then go the other. And I'll travel back around to get to another side. One way and back to the other. All the way around because I want to go back over here, one way and back to the other. And I'll keep going. It's like a figure eight. And there'll be different sizes, and, you know, that's okay because I don't want them looking too generic, okay? So a little bit more organic is good for me. And I might even, I don't know whether I'm going to 100% do the flowery thing. I might try it without it first and see how I go. So that's the sort of background I'm going to do. Sorry, camera's done that. I'm going to have to re-change those settings. And that's the sort of thing that I'm going to do all in the background here. And I'm going to keep it tight. So lots, if I have it, I could do just straight lines and do that, but I think that would be fairly boring. So I'm going to start closer to the project. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to work from that way out. Okay. So hi, Julianne, how you going? So any questions so far? Anything you want me to show you first? No, we're all good. Checking to make sure my foot slides nicely over my fabric without giving me any kind of resistance. Don't want resistance. Now you can see that's a long tail, might not all bury, and it's not going to. And also you can see here, hi Stella, love the green colour, me too. This little fella here, I'm going to tuck out under and out of the way. And once I've put the needle down, you can see there's a massive gap. Let's see if we can zoom it. Oh, as far as I can go, but I can get my whole tweezers under there. So I do need to drop that foot, otherwise I'm going to have a whole heap of missed stitches. Okay. Yeah, I think the green colour, Stella, has literally made the whole project pop. It really has, personally. Now, because I'm going to be working on a small piece, I also have very little amount of room to put my hands down, you know, the instant reaction here. So I will probably be holding with two or three fingers under, and then still got the glove on, and then just hold the edge like that, which helps me hold the backing. Okay, not that it's going to move with all that stitching, it's not going anywhere. And the other side, have my hand on it. Now, I'm going to try and keep my hand out of the way for you, which is going to bring it down a little bit lower than what I would normally have, just so you can see what I'm doing. I'll try and raise a little bit more. See if that's a bit better. I'm in as far as I can go. Bring my little cherry. There we go. So that should pretty much keep my hands well out of the way, and you guys will see what I'm doing. It also means I use a stop-start button. You'll be able to see me do the stop-start button and where I keep my hand when I'm doing it. So if you're having trouble with using the stop-start, or you've sort of thought about it and too frightened to, you can see how I keep my hand at that point without running my fingers over. All right, big issue if you run your fingers over. So let's get to it. Enough chatting, let's sew. Oh, there we go. Now I've got it really slow, so I do need to speed it up. And I start at just under the halfway mark, and then I work my way from there. A bit of luck, even this green thread might really take away that black a little bit without even having to paint over it. So fingers crossed, eh? So I'm doing a small, like a circles or pebbles or whatever you want to do, just around that close edge and keeping it tight. So real sort of micro quilting sort of thing. And you can see the direction. Hi Maggie, how you going? So you can see how I'm just using my two fingers here, even though I've got the one underneath or two underneath, and the forefinger and my thumb at the top, so I can touch that stop and start. This hand here is literally just resting, just to support it. I'm going around one way and then come back the other. So around one way. So the other thing too is just remember that going through all these layers is going through two lots of wadding. Well, one is a bag batting and the other is a wadding, and it's got two lots of fabric. So that's 4 layers plus paint. Yes, paint makes a difference. If the thread shreds, I'm not going to curse it too much. I'm just going to deal with it and move on. So let's do a little swirl here and then some more pebbles around it. I reckon that's plenty. I don't need to do any little floweretty things. I think we just need a couple of smaller swirls as well. Do some large ones and smaller ones. Go out and in. Bit of an echo. Love echoing of all else fails. Echo. So the green thread is really blending. Beautifully. It's not making it stand out. It's not taking away from the main feature, which I'm happy about. But it's pushing that background down. Another swirl. And just go back over. Let's make it a little bit bigger and come around to the other side. And let's start with some more circles. Pebbles, whatever you want. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. It's almost there. Another year over. It's a crappy year, hasn't it been horrible? And it looks like we're going to go through it again. Hit me coughing it. The buggers. Okay, so I've just done a whole heap of circles, little pebbles, just to get me around to the other side. And I can feel I've got it's been very exhausting. Hi Lou, how you going? I'm just going to move. I'm starting to lose a bit of control because I'm moving the fabric that way, which means my hand's getting further out here. So I'm going to move my hand back over to where I've got more control, and I do be glad to see the end of this year. Me too, Stella. Absolutely. It's been very exhausting. So by moving my hand back over, it means I've got more control because I'm closer to that throat of the machine where I need to be. So for those who still quilt on a standard sit-down machine, it's really important. Your hand positioning is really important, and it will just save you a world of hurt. A little bit of a swirl in there with an echo going on. It'll save you a world of hurt if you've got your hands positioned to become more ergonomically correct and less stress on your physical being. So I'm getting up to the dark areas there, and it's okay for me to have that green sort of, I can see it more, but that's right. I'm not changing, I'm not swapping out threads just to change in certain areas. That'd be ridiculous. Another little swirl. Pop her in there. Now, I must admit that if you are going to fill up all this area with bubbles or pebbles or whatever, you really want to love them, okay? Because it does take a long time. Now, I'm getting really close. My finger's getting really close to here. So I'm actually swapping the majority of my movement to this hand, and I'm holding with my thumb underneath. So thumb's going underneath the fabric, just like that. And I'm holding the top, but I'm holding it down, and it's just helping me to control. And I'm going to put my other hand behind so that I don't stitch my fingers into the machine, because last thing I want is my DNA all over it. Oh, into the fabric, I should say. So it still gives me, and I'm only holding the hand at the back. My right hand is only holding by 2 fingers. So still not a big monkey grip on it, but I've still got a nice hold and control. And you can see I've got plenty of control with just those 2 fingers doing the maneuvering, and the one at the front just helping by just guiding it through if it gets a little bit stuck or stiff, or, you know, too textured and it doesn't want to do what you want it to do. So another little swirl, keeping them nice and tight. You don't want these massive ones there because it'll just take over. I want this kept nice and tight so it doesn't take over the actual main feature. It'll just give the background some texture. It'll push the background back and make sure that the foreground, being the horse, is the main feature, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just changing position again. I hope you can see some of it. There it is there. I think you can see it. Looks pretty good to me on camera. Again, still got my hand there, and I'm going to hold my fingers. Actually, I might still hold behind just for a little while longer. And literally got my 2 fingers just pinching that backing fabric and just holding onto it. And the beauty of doing this tonally correct with the background fabric and the thread means that when I make those little indiscretions by crossing over bubbles and, you know, stitches sometimes being a little bit bigger or smaller than they should be, you really don't see them. And the other thing too, a bit like painting, when I do this, I tend to get into a little bit of a mode. So if I go really quiet, poke me in the ribs, will you? Another swirl. Make this one a little bit bigger. Circles, pebbles, bubbles, whatever you want to call them. I don't care. So you were surprised to see 3 demos happening today? I looked at the clock and I looked at the time, and I can fit 3 in today. Easy peasy. So I just noticed my hand at the back there starting to lift and sort of do this funny sort of positioning. That's starting to hurt. So I need to stop and reposition my hand so that it doesn't hurt, because, you know, there's a lot of work there to do yet, and I don't want to be aching at the end of it. My elbows are pretty much at the side of my body, especially my left one, so that I'm not sort of got the wings out, you know, which will help with your shoulder pain if you can keep your shoulder, like your elbows in. A bit like a dinner table, you know, when you're eating, keep your elbows in. Do another little swirl. A little one. This is a little bit like machine embroidery, where the sound of the machine makes me all dopey and want to, I just zone out. The other thing too is a little bit of a tip, is that I tend to do no more than around about 20 to 30 minutes of free motion quilting at a time, because it's, you know, lots of little spurts is better than one big massive 3-hour session. I'd rather swap it up. Because I've found anytime I do that, I'm always back at the doctor. And he says, "What do you do for a living?" And I say, "I'm a quilter." And he goes, "Can you do something else?" And I say, "No." Or if I say to him, "I've been painting a lot," they say, "Can you do something else?" I say, "No." I can quilt, but that does the same thing. So I tend to try and only do short little stints at a time. I might even stop, have a 10-minute break, come back. That's okay, as long as I've broken it up. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone else do that, or is it just me? Okay, you can see it there. It's really starting to show there. So it's going to push that background back. And I'm just going to try and get into there, and I'm going to work in this direction across, maybe. Might come across here and then up. See how I go. Get my hands positioned right. So were you absolutely devastated to see that I painted the Stonehenge fabric? Were you devoed? I sort of looked at it and went, should I? Shouldn't I? I'm going to paint it. It needs to change. I love it, but it needs to change. Your muscles need to move more, so that's a good way to do it, breaking it up. Absolutely, yeah, because otherwise you just sort of get in this really stiff position. I know when I need a break, my seam ripper is being, yes, well, at the end of this, I'm actually going to get out my quick ripper and clean up the back of it, which just makes it so much easier than using scissors. I just noticed that I had a little bit of a jump with the thread there, so I'm just going to stitch that down in. I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to let it get to me. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, yeah, I did change the tension. It's a bit like, oh, yeah, I did leave the iron on. Did I change that tension? Sorry, I'm just going to put my hand there just because I don't want to cause issues with my wrists or my tendons. I'm using a bit of a glove that way. Okay, I'm just going to turn it this way because I've got more to hang on to this way, and I think that'll be easier for the old girl, that being me. Just going to push my foot down a little bit more. Do a bit of a swirl. Back out again. And then so nothing I've done in this is rocket science. You know, a lot of straight lines, a bit of zigzag in the actual course. You know, probably the most technical side of it would have been me throwing some paint on it. But, you know, it wasn't a lot of paint. It was just, and you know how bad it is when you've got to stop. You've got to tell yourself to stop. It was just enough to create a change and to get that lifelike look, which I think really worked personally. I really enjoy throwing paint on fabric, so hence the reason why we're doing a little bit of painting today. And we're going to do some fabric stamping as well, a bit of stencil work maybe, see what I feel like doing. Swirl there, bring them out. Lou's laughing at me. A lot of people laugh at me, Lou. I'm good with that. When they stop laughing, that's when I'll be sad. A big circle. You know, don't make them all the same sizes. Throw some texture in there. One way. And if I start singing, you're all allowed to tell me off because I do that. Put your headphones off. All right. A bit of a swirl in the corner. It's probably going to get cut off anywho. We'll throw it in there, just good luck. So I've sort of worked across the top of this, a nice sort of block type of fashion. I will have my house to myself shortly. I can sew in my dining room, and thank goodness my craft room gets a bit hot. Yeah, it's not. Oh, this room too can get quite hot. That's why I end up sticking the aircon on because otherwise I'd cook in here some days. Tin roof. I have got the plaster and stuff up there, but you know, still gets hot. So I stopped the machine just then because I was going to tell you what I just made myself do, and you probably wouldn't have noticed at all, but I noticed that with my left hand here that it started to get a little bit painy, a little bit tired, and then I realised I was actually pushing down and hanging onto it for dear life, which I tend to do still, even now, so many years later. I make that mental note. So then I just released the pressure and stopped, and it instantly stopped hurting. So just make that mental note. If you feel yourself getting tight, oops, daisy, break the thing. If you feel yourself getting tight and sore in the arm, especially along here, then take that pressure off by just releasing that hand. Okay, I'm just going to rethread. It's done really well, actually. It's gone through a lot of things. It hasn't cracked it at me too much so far. So I'm impressed. The confetti thread is taking the beating. I used to use only Rosard in anything like this because it's so strong with the polycore. But I'm finding that the confetti is doing really, really well. So I'm happy. Yeah, nicely threaded because I have my eyeballs on. And I do notice that my, where did I start earlier? I do have a thread hanging out there. No, I must have sewed it in. I did notice that my bobbin, just pick that up, no, it's still got a bit to go. So being a pre-wound, it has so many meters on it. I can get so much work done without having to change my bobbin. Love my pre-wounds. Just saying. Now listen, thread, don't get in the way. I'm on a mission. Does everyone else talk to their thread and their machine like me, or is it just me? Because like, am I nuts? I do it all the time. I say, now be a good girl. Anyone sitting in the sewing room with me will hear me just yap away at the machine. Maggie knows. She went on retreat with me. I sit there and talk to her. I swear. I cussed at it. Oh, I did it again. A bit of thread there. I might just check the bobbin and make sure there's nothing happening down there. Yeah. Nice fails, and I might have to slow it down if it's going to start threading. Shredding. There could be also stuff in the middle of that, like paint and stuff that I'm not seeing. All right, let's just have a quick squeeze. Make sure she's all happiness. So we're doing what it should do. Is it not getting caught or anything? Putting pressure on my top thread. Don't be nasty. David says I talk to it all the time. David, I feel that I'm one with Maggie, with Stella. Sorry, couldn't hear you over Mary and my nattering. Yeah, Mary does. Mary talks to it all the time. Dottie, not so much. Mary and I do that. I might be in the swear. I might be in the swear category. Yeah, me too. I'm afraid, especially if things aren't going nicely, I start calling it names. Oops, nearly sewed that bit of thread in, and or I'll start calling myself names more to the point. You know, the silly biatch type thing. Right, let me just get that bit of thread. Come on, get out. So, just wondering why it's a little bit of a shredding moment under there. I'll slow it down a fraction to see if that helps. I think I should get a swear jar and start filling it. I reckon I'd be rich by the end of a week. Oh, that was a bit of a rounded point. I'm going back. So what happened there was when you're doing anything like this, right, if you want to make a point, you have to pause, and I didn't pause. So that, oh, I did it again, snapped it again. I get to the stage where I say, oh, please play nice today. Yeah, I do too. When it plays up, I give it away for the day. Oh, look, that is highly likely. It's just starting to do it now. That's because I said it was playing really nicely with me. It's getting a bit of a twist in it, so I'm wondering whether I might need to, sorry about that, change its position of where it's coming from. So see how she plays. Keep going. Sorry about the fuzzy. I couldn't afford a switch. Yeah, I think you guys are very much like me. Poor old Judy, she was here at Christmas Day thing, and I started. It was at the end of the day and had a long day. I think her ears were bleeding. All right, let's try again. I might need to up the ante on the needle, or I'll fix on that. So it looks like that bobbin thread is still attached, so I'm going to go cut off. See if it play nice with me. No, it's not. Don't be a shard. All right, let's try again. See, it's not just you. This happens to me too. Oh, I've got that little tail there. I'm going to get that in a minute. So remembering, being nice to the thread, because it is going through a huge amount of stuff. Just saying. Oh, Stella, that's how I pay for my material for my sweat jar. Lol Gidget, that is probably a good idea. That's a great idea. Oh, dear. All right. I don't want to be banned from YouTube for swearing. Although there's some serious stuff on YouTube. If they ban me for swearing, I'd be really surprised with my buggers and bloody hells. And but I did at the Christmas thing. I did let loose a little. Oh dear. I had to wait until others left. And poor Judy was there at the end, and she said sorry. Dear. And she just laughed at me. So now I've slowed the machine down. I have to slow my hands down. Isn't that annoying? I've been going for around about the 37-minute mark, like you see. So we'll give it another 10 minutes. And I might see if I can speed her up without smashing everything again. See if I can really speed her up. It probably will shred because I'm speeding it up a lot more. Here we go. He goes, maybe I can get a swear jar for David. I would have lots more money to spend then. David, you don't swear, do you? You wouldn't. That'd melt in your mouth. Never melt in your mouth. All right, let's go. So this is a lot faster than before, which means that I can hopefully get it finished a little bit quicker, depending on how many times I snap my thread. Face of an angel, David has. He wouldn't swear. I don't believe a word of it, Stella. So we had some bad news yesterday. A local fella who has been known to ride his bike for years, has lived in the Rosewood area for years, all his life, very well knowledgeable and lovely man, always ready to help, there with every local event, lives on his own and rides a bike all the way into Ballarat to go and get his stuff and then all the way back. And that's like a 40 to 45 minute drive. It's huge. About 51, 52. And he was at the pub in Rosewood and he was riding home and some bugger hit him, killed him. And I'm just devastated. I can't believe it. I can't believe that next time I go down locally, I'm not going to see him anymore. It's horrible. And, I wasn't close, but I knew him well enough. I've known him for a long time, 7 or 8 years. And just in shock. The whole town's going to be in shock because the whole family's sort of still in the area. And it's awful. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to give you that news. It was really hard yesterday for me to do my demo because I was in between everything because it only happened on Friday night. I was sort of constantly thinking of him and his family. So horrible time of the year for anything to happen, but such a gentle soul and always up for a good chat. He was so lovely. So luckily it wasn't a hit and run. They do have the person who hit him. Anyway, a bit of a sad note. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to. Yeah, it's very sad. Stella is, lovely fella. All right. So, happier note. We are halfway there. Actually, a little bit over halfway. So, let's keep going. We've got, it is. We'll try and find out when the funeral is because I'll be going until Rod, I'd say. I knew it when I worked in the pub, he'd come in there nearly every other day and come in, have a couple of beers. And I mean, one or two, he wasn't, he liked to have a beer, but he wasn't, a major, he said. And he was so lovely, always polite, always kind, good to the kids. If you'd see the local kids or anything, he was just, yeah. No, he was such a nice fella. We had a Ropewood Festival, and I mean, he'd just come along and help and not expect anything and anything to help the local community. He's so locally minded, more so than most. We're all locally minded, but he's just always been really, sharing photos from 1800s, 1900s, all that sort of thing from his family photos. Yeah. So I can't imagine the family's just going to be. Yeah. So this will cheer me up to know that I have completed something and take my mind off it a little. Anyway. Nearly down the front of the face. Okay, look at that. All right, ready? Let's go. Oh, it's telling me the bobbin's close, but I don't believe it because I reckon I can push. So it's obviously happier now. I've gone a little bit faster and very tough around the front of the nose there. So I'll be making sure I get a little bit of paint on there so that I can loosen up that black a little. Just releasing my index finger there, just because I can feel that it's getting a little tense, and I do like to not be in pain when I do these things. And it's sort of weird now because the kids are older and I sort of had to tell them because one works at one milk bar and the other one works at the other milk bar, and they both have served him, so they knew him and they were sort of shocked that. And the worst thing is I seen him the other day riding, and I looked and I thought, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought, someone's going to hit him one day. He wears all the right things and everything, but he's just on the bike, on the road every day, and the odds are against him. It's like someone who drives a train. The odds are against them to have someone walk in front and do the horrible suicide thing. If you're on the road more often and you drive more often, the odds are against you, or for having an accident more often. If you're in a plane, you've got the odds that, and you ride planes every day, higher chance of having an accident with a plane than you are driving, because you're in a plane more often than you drive. Do you know what I mean? Like, the odds are against you. So, and Rod said to me on the phone when I told him, when he rang, I sent him a message and told him, he's busy, and I thought he'd get the message when he does. He rang me straight away. And he said he bloody knew that was going to happen. But he's, never been a driver as such. He's always ridden a bike. So, and everyone locally knows him. And I don't think it was a local person, to be honest with you. I think it was someone coming. And it was on the main road, main highway. And it was at 9:30 at night. So he was no idea whether I'd seen him or not. I don't know any details and probably never will, and it doesn't matter. So when the kids were young, kids don't need to know these things, do they? All right, we're almost there. Look, I've only got this much to do. So, stop it. So, yeah, anyway. So what's everyone doing for Christmas? Are you gathering with friends, family, spending it alone? But I hope you're not spending it alone. Are you spending it with friends? Are you doing charity work? What are you doing this Christmas? I'm spending it with mum and dad and my brother and husband and kids. That'll be nice. And then we're going to the river, unless they, oh no, we can stay on the Victorian side, so it's fine. Unless they block us off. Caravans, glamping. It's getting there, isn't it, Stella? It's looking like, and I do apologise for the conversation. I just know you guys so well. I just needed to share. My apologies. Make your day shit too. Oh, let's just share the shitness. Oh, there, swear jar. All right. Yeah, so we're going to the river, and I'm going to sit there, and I'm taking my painting stuff with me, taking my drawing stuff. I'm taking my what I call it, the soft pastels, so I can get into those. And what else? Yeah, that's about it really. Half with my daughter, hubby, and 5 kids. The other half with my son, wife, and 4 kids. And then home for a well-earned rest. I bet you're going to be exhausted. My granddaughter's turned 26. She leaves for Sydney, then house empty again. Oh, you'll have a bit of a break. Family lunch. Doubt we are going anywhere now. We have COVID. Yeah, I know. It's awful, Braddo. You guys are popping it again. I haven't even, I've been doing the YouTube thing a lot, like as in watching shows on YouTube. And because you know how much I love my murder shows and I love my haunted shows. So I haven't really watched the news because, I don't need to. So what is actually happening with that? Like, how the heck has it got there again? Is it hotels? Is it people coming in from overseas? Because we almost had it completely, well, not completely, but pretty much under control. Now it sort of seems to be showing its ugly head. because I heard somewhere on Sky News, it was on YouTube again, that Queensland was thinking of shutting the borders to New South again. Is that true? Or am I hearing old news? Because, like I say, I don't get out much. So sometimes when I'm doing this, I get a bit blurry-eyed. Do you get blurry-eyed, especially if it's tone on tone? I start getting into a bit of a stare. You can see that's quite bumpy, but I am going to stitch that to death. So it's going to go down. Whether it likes it or not, it's going down. And little swirly thing. I have got a bit of pressure on that hand, this one, just to push it through. Don't want to push it down. So I started watching Most Haunted again. So, apparently someone came into country with it and has been travelling. Oh, that's clever of them. So they didn't think to test them before letting them out into the public. Just saying. What they expect that they're going to self-isolate without and do the honest thing. How gullible. How gullible. That is funny. Even think that they're going to. Of course they're going to travel. Stupid are these people. Seriously. It's really ridiculous to even think that these people are going to come into the country and self-isolate for 2 weeks. You can't trust people to do these things. You know, 100-foot tall bulletproof. Won't happen to me syndrome. Plenty of other syndromes out there. Stupid syndrome. Government stupid syndrome. See how many people they can kill syndrome. Oops, ran out of bobbin. Borders are apparently, borders are closing again. Vic, New South Wales need paperwork again. Okay. Well, I'm planning not to cross the border, so it won't matter too much, but as long as it doesn't affect Victoria as such as travelling within. WA have shut New South Wales. I had read that they think it was an airline crew that came in and went sightseeing till they flew out again. Nice. Never ceases to amaze me. Stupidity. Is it contagious? Stupidity is contagious, isn't it? Right? Otherwise, I don't understand that. I don't understand. They can hate me and they can troll me for all they like. I mean, airline crew, do you think they would know how debilitating, how nice it is? Yeah, that's lovely. I'm glad that they're sharing. Not. Like, seriously, they're in an industry where they know how dangerous it is, and yet they still do it. So it's like saying a doctor went and decided, yeah, you know what, I've got COVID, or I could possibly have COVID because I've been handling all these people, blah, blah, blah. But you know what, I just want to travel until, I'm back on again, even though I've got 2 weeks off because I have to isolate. But, let's just go and travel instead because, I'm all right. I'm asymptomatic. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to kill anyone. Idiots. See, and this is why I need a swear jar. People like that make me swear. It's got to be that stupid factor. Oops, it is. It's got to be that stupid factor. We are so nearly finished this. I've chatted about everything from bereavement to COVID to Christmas. Oh, yeah, I like watching Most Wanted and other ones because some are pretty funny because they're obviously fake. But I do like Most Haunted, the English one, because, I don't know, they're just a little bit more not fake. Fake, not fake. Yeah, unfake, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Anywho, I watched that because anything to do with ghosty stuff, and I've decided that actually I'm very morbid, really, aren't I? Murders, ghosts, conspiracy theories, which most of them I don't believe, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, rather morbish. If they leave if they don't have, they have to go into lockdown. Yes, exactly right, Stella. If they're so selfish. And there is a new strain now, I believe. Yay, a new one, something to look forward to. Most Haunted is sometimes scary. I don't think it's scary. I like Most Haunted. I don't find those things scary. I find them fascinating because that's just my morbid thing. Sorry to disappoint, David. Yeah, I know. So it absolutely fascinates me. What I do find is really funny. Have you ever watched those shows about the Yeti? It's not the Yeti. It's the Bigfoot. The Bigfoot show. They are hilarious. They so believe that there's a Bigfoot out there. That they're out there doing these calls of the wild and videotaping, and they're really serious, and they've got this scientist there, and she's serious, and I just cackle myself laughing at how ridiculous they are. It's like the doomsday preppers. I just think they're hilarious. Bigfoot now. I'd be more inclined to believe that there's a big black panther in Australia than I would that there's a Bigfoot, somewhere. Yeah, that's hilarious, that show. That's always made me laugh. I catch myself laughing. Rod thinks that it's ridiculous, but I find it really funny that they're so serious because it's just ridiculous. And anyone who sat there and believed that and all the rubbish they carry on with and the cries of the wild and that's got to be one, and can you hear it in the background, and you know full well it's a bloody fox. If you've ever heard a fox or a howling wolf, you can hear it, or it's an owl. They're hilarious. They make me laugh. I tell you one thing I have been listening or watching lately too is apparently the strains mutate all the time, which is how they can track who got it from where. Oh, that's a good thing. Aliens, ghosts, bring it on. Yeah, me too. Stella, anything. Although aliens sort of, I don't know, I'm still a bit, I don't know if they're real. I suppose we're here. Why can't they be? I don't know whether they bother coming here. Seriously, have they got something better to do? I love watching the Bigfoot clips, but really, with all the technology, surely they would find something. Sasquatch hunter, that's it. How ridiculous are they? Like they really, or maybe someone else making them foolish. Yeah, look, I just think that if you're a scientist and you've spent 10 years studying science, biology, whatever, and yet you still believe in a Bigfoot, sorry, you've lost my respect. So I'm just going to crack myself laughing at you because you're an idiot. So, because Sasquatches or whatever are not real, just saying, just putting it out there. Do you know what I actually watched? Stella, you would enjoy it, and she's quite funny. And I love the way she tells the stories, and it's Bailey Sarian. And you go to YouTube and type in Bailey, Bailey, Sarian, and she does Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Mondays, and it's also on Facebook. She's hilarious, but she she does these videos on murder, you know, mystery, but while she's doing it, and she's a makeup artist by trade, she does her makeup. It's quite fascinating to watch her do her makeup. And she's got a really, I don't know, a fun way of telling the story. But she's serious about it because if people die and whatever else, and you know, and she'll, you know, she's quite good at storytelling. So she's very well known now. Like we're talking 3 million followers plus, like huge amount of following. I started about 12 months ago following her, and every Monday she comes out with a YouTube video. Sometimes they repeat, like as in I keep seeing them come up on Facebook and it drives me nuts. So yeah, but on the YouTube one, really worthwhile watching. She did one on the Mothman. That was funny. I don't know. She sort of reminds me of me in a way, but younger. So I do like her because she reminds me of me. Go figure. Yeah, the Bailey Sarian. Oh, you've seen her? Or maybe someone else is making them foolish. Yeah, fancy getting paid to search for Bigfoot, or is that big feet in plural? I don't know. It's like dice. Yeah, she's. Do you watch her, Rado? She's funny as she always makes me laugh. Brightens my day. Actually, got to have at least once a day my fix of Bailey Sarian. I like her, and she's so pretty. She's got the most amazing tattoos. There we go, all done. How cool is that? When I grow up, I want to be just like Bailey. Joking. All right, so we have done that to death. All right, it's quilted to death. It's finished. All right, so let me just move the machine, or not the machine, but the camera. So let's just go backwards. All righty, there we go. Now you can see the mic thing there. I'll just move it all out of the way because I don't need it there. All right. Look at that back. Let me come up close. Look at that. That's a mess. Yeah, she's cool, isn't she? So, in the front of my, oh, look out. It started without me. That is awesome. Yeah, it looks really good, doesn't it, Stella? Looks really, really good. So you can see how it pushes the background back because it's tonal. If I had used a colour that you could really see, it would have come forward and it would have taken over this. It would have been yuck. We have the quick ripper. Let's get down and dirty with the quick ripper. So just give it a quick one over. You can always put a fake back on these if you really want to. You know, it's an art piece. I don't expect it to be immaculate on the back. Definitely not going to be like hand sewing stuff where they look really perfect. That's the eyeball. You can see it's all poofy. All right, so just laughing at Stella. Let's get all these little hairy bits off because nothing worse than having hairy bits on the back of your quilt. Give them a bit of a thing. The main ones off. Stragglers. So, David come running in yet? Okay. We're almost there. Just enough to clean it up enough that I'm happy to then just bind. And I'm going to do a blind binding. I have done a demo on it before. So it won't actually have like the traditional binding around it, which will make it look more like an art piece than a quilt, so to speak. So All right. There we go. Pretty good. I'll give her a bit of a shake in a minute. And whatever's left then, that's just too bad. Crikey, that won't make it come. And no, God, no. No, there's no way knowing this is coming. The amount of stitches I've put over this, there's not a chance in Hades this baby's coming undone. I couldn't even unpick it if I tried. No way, no, baby. Nice haircut. Jit, jit, jit. Everything has been stitched to 1 inch of its life, backwards and forwards, over and again. A little bit over here, get in there. I do this with all my little art pieces now, because it's easier. Oh, here he comes. I'll just give it a bit of a smack around. There we go. Still a little bit hairy. There, cut that one out. Because otherwise I'd have to do it by scissors. Because you can't leave them there. That's ridiculous. All right. That was just for David, that one. All right, let's turn her over. There we go. All right. So one more thing before we go. I know we've been on here for a little while. And I'm just going to turn the camera for you. And down, and down. See my microphone? That stops all that airy noise that you guys used to be able to hear. Move that over there. And over here. So I'm going to move that back a bit. That was a bit far. There we go. All right. Just get all that out of the way. I'm going to go get a ruler. Give me a second. So this is the terrifying part where you cut off half of what you've done. So I'm standing, I'm not sitting, obviously. I'm going to, I might start with the bottom because it's fairly, well, not straight, but it's reasonably so. So, and I trim right on the edge, just straight across. He said thank you. All right, so I've left that there. I'm okay with that because it'll go on the seam. And then I'm going to come across here and using the bottom line that I've just cut, because that now is my straight edge, that there, okay? So I'm lining it up with my ruler, not my mat. And you can see it's going to come across on a real angle. So I've got one of two options. I can ignore it and then trim that off a bit, the bottom, which I'm thinking might be an idea, because if I was to just straighten that up a bit, right, I'd only lose a little bit here. So I might just do that and then I'll re-straighten that there. All right, so let's just go back to this one. Use the edge of my ruler because that's definitely straight, that's not going to change. And I'm going to lose a little bit on the side here, but nothing to write home to. Definitely not worthwhile swearing over. All right. So, and I think that was better than losing too much of this. So coming from this side, sorry, my arm's in the way, I know. I'm just going to line that up with that top bit here because I know that's a straight edge. I always go with what I know. Turn it. Again, line it up with there. I don't want to cut. I don't want to have too much of this in. So I'm going to lose a little bit of the ear, but who cares? And I'm just going to make sure, and I can see from here, that's straight there. I can see that the line's straight, so that is bloody brilliant. Cut it off. There she is. How cool is that? Hey? Me likey. So let's zoom into her. I'll put it on the right angle. Wrong way. Michelle, you're a deal. Hang on. Which way am I going? There we go. Go that way. There we go. Stupid camera. All right. So that is now ready for binding. And Might do a very short demo on that, probably tomorrow or the next day. We'll see how I go. Maybe do one. Yeah, got a couple of appointments tomorrow, so we'll see how we go. But anyway, I will see you guys soon. Definitely need to add just a little bit of white there to take that black off there and across here. So that will also get done. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed doing that free motion quilting in the background. Me think I like it. Yeah, looks cool, hey? And it's ready for the edging to be done, binding, and I'm going to do a, I've got to figure out which way I've got to go with this camera. Hang on. Hang on. Which way? Not the way. There we go. There we go. So this, what will happen is we'll have what we call a blind binding. So that will actually get turned over a little bit more, like that. And there'll be you won't see a binding. Okay, so it'll actually just look as it is, fraction smaller. Thank you for joining me again. I appreciate your time because I do this for you, and I know it's just not me and my time, it's you and your time as well. So if there's anything else I can help you with or answer, please feel free to send me a message or post here. I'm happy to help as much as I can. I'm going to see you in about an hour's time at 1 o'clock, and we're going to do I think it was the next one, some fabric stamping and stuff. So that's going to be fun. All right, we'll see you soon, guys. Bye.